Good afternoon and welcome to another edition of the Real Review coming from lockdown. I hope you've all been well. I know lockdown has started to ease a little bit, so hopefully the reviews I'm about to do today are two from online platforms, or two new films from online platforms, and I'm hoping that as these lockdown phases start to come in, I hope to see cinemas reopen very soon. So I'm going to start off. So I've got two films. One's called 7,500 and one is called Artemis Fowl. One's Amazon Prime and one is Disney Plus. So a wee bit of a mix there, and it's great to see that still some new films are managing to get a release. So let's just jump into the first one and go by release date. So let's start with Artemis Fowl. So Artemis Fowl, I was a fan of as a child of the books. They are very good. It's sort of like kid thrillers by Owen Colfer. It's set in Ireland. He's an Irish writer. He even wrote some load of books set in Scotland, actually, which is kind of by the by. But basically, he described these books as Die Hard with fairies. That was his kind of sort of pitch originally with the books, and it was about a kind of gangster child. You know, you'd had Alex Rider, who was the teenage spy, the James Bond. So this was going to be a kind of assassin. So this was a film directed by Kenneth Branagh, written by Conor McPherson and Hamish McCool, starring some really amazing talent: Josh Gad, Judi Dench, Colin Farrell, and then some new talent, which was Ferdia Shaw and Larry McDonnell, and I think Tamara Smart was the other one. So basically, this is set around on the coast of Ireland, and it's basically about a kind of really rich family, the Fowl family, and Colin Farrell plays the dad. He plays the father of Artemis Fowl. He's Artemis Fowl Senior and it's Artemis Fowl Junior, and Colin Farrell is basically arrested on a sort of assumption that he was trying to steal these world famous relics and stolen the powerful Oculus, which is offering magical powers and stuff. So Artemis Fowl, the younger, is kind of brought into this land of trying to save his father, and it's kind of told through a flashbacks with Josh Gad's character, who kind of plays a bit of a Haggard type character, and it's kind of set in this world of hybrid of Ireland but fairies. Basically, Artemis Fowl, in order to get his father released, Artemis Fowl Senior released, he needs to find this Oculus, and will do nothing to stop getting there. But obviously people are also after Artemis Fowl, the sort of secret civilization of fairies who are run by Judi Dench, and they are sent out to also try and track down this Oculus, and they kind of meet in the middle. So Ferdia Shaw and Larry McDonnell, they kind of team up in the middle. Larry McDonnell playing a young fairy who's trying to, show that she's good. Her name's Holly Short. She's trying to show that she is worth her place in the fairies sort of command, trying to prove herself to Judi Dench. And it basically kind of pans out as a bunch of set pieces. At the beginning, there's a lot of stuff with Josh Gad, and then kind of in the middle, it's more about the fairies, the secret organisation that Judi Dench runs. And then they kind of come up against it at the end, another sort of batch of fairies that all kind of comes to accumulation. So the film itself, I mean, that is pretty much the story of the film. It is based, the son trying to, retrieve the father and will do anything to do that. And he becomes this cool sort of secret agent, gangster type fella who has got his sidekick butler, and he's got all these cool gadgets, and he learns all about this fairy in this sort of magical world. And it's a very fun movie, but it's kind of almost one of those ones that you watch once, and it's kind of, I don't think, got a rewatchable value to it. The set pieces are very CGI heavy. I know it was shot on film, and a lot of stuff was shot practically as well, but there is obviously, for obvious reasons, quite a CGI heavy elements to it, which is fine, but almost too much. It was a bit too fantastical at one point. And considering it's set in Ireland, I think it's just there's just this weird juxtaposition that I thought would have made it a better TV series rather than a film. Some brilliant performances though. I mean, Josh Gad, Judi Dench, you can't get any better, although Judi Dench just gets weird. You don't know whether she's talking Irish or kind of this Bristol twang to her. But all the younger kids, Ferdy Shaw, he plays it amazingly. He has got a lot of charm to him, but maybe not quite the Artemis Fowl that was expected from the books. And I think that's the problem. I think when they brought it together, I think they were trying to do more than one of the books. They weren't trying to do book one. I think they were trying to do book 1 and 2. So I think at times you can tell that they're trying so hard to make this just accumulation, almost a snowball effect of action upon action upon action. But I think at times it loses in terms of plot, loses a sense of perspective. There's no real emotional investment in these characters. I mean, obviously it's a father and a son, that's an emotional investment, but other than that, I feel like it was just very two-dimensional. I felt there was a wee bit more could have been done in terms of setting up the father-son relationship and also introducing us to this world. I feel like they expect us to know a little too much, and then when they do try and tell us about it, there's a wee bit, almost too much exposition. It just feels like we're being, here's the information you need, there we go, we'll just do it, we've got an action scene coming up. But I mean, great spectacle, that's for sure. And amazing music by Patrick Doyle, like you cannot fault the music. I just feel that it's a good movie, worth watching, definitely for the younger children. There's no kind of qualities in there I would say an adult would get something out of, but I mean, watch it, try it, but I think that any fans of the books would probably be disappointed in terms of what it actually tries to do. And I do think, I mean, I love Ken Branagh as a director, I think he's a great director, but I feel like this maybe he was trying to make something that was just relentless, 90 minutes, he didn't want to make something any more than 90 minutes, and I feel like that kind of shows. And I think Rotten Tomatoes even said it would anger fans and the source material, of the source material, and leave newcomers befuddled. So I think there is a sense of just a bit of confusion, and it was in development hell for quite a long time, I think since 2001, so I think it's been a story that's been hard to crack. I think it'll be the type of thing that will end up as a TV series, and I really hope it does because it's great source material. I just think that it was overall a lot of good elements to it, but I just feel like they didn't really gel together, and was a wee bit disappointment, especially because I loved the books as a child. But again, Ken Branagh, you really should watch it. It's at least something to do when you're in lockdown. You're in lockdown, you've got Disney Plus, just shove it on. You'll watch 90 minutes of it, you'll maybe enjoy some of the action, and then, yeah, you'll probably forget about it after that. So, now on to a slightly more different tone of movie. It's one called 7500, titled, or 7500, just to give it its proper code name. So, this was a story all about, it's all set in a plane, but in the cockpit of a plane. It's very much a closed room movie, a one-room movie. And this is the debut for Patrick Bollerath, who wrote and directed it. It's an action thriller. It stars Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and it's basically all about this terrorist plane hijacking that happens, but we only see it from the point of view of the inside of the cockpit. So we see the pilot's point of view, we see the little CCTV cameras they have looking out on the back of the plane. Now, normally you'd be on the back of the plane, you'd be seeing all the commotion and all that. You'd be part of the one of the crowds. That's where the audience tend to find their sympathy the most. But it puts us in the cockpit, and the biggest thing is that obviously in a terrorist attack, pilots are commanded not to open the door under law. So there's a little bit of a quandary because these terrorists attack just as the door is open, and they manage to push them out. But the captain of the plane, he is injured. They've got basically using glass that's kind of tied up, so that's how they didn't get detected. The captain gets stabbed, and the co-pilot, who's played by Joseph Gordon-Levitt, he's got to keep the plane going, but also manages to get the terrorists out. He captures one of them inside and gets the other ones out. And the one that's inside the plane, he knocks unconscious, and then he tries to get the aircraft back on target and alerts to the fact that there's a terror attack happening. And then the rest of it plays out almost from his perspective of trying to keep the plane afloat, looking at what's going on through the CCTV cameras in the door as the terrorists try to get back in. And also the fact that has his girlfriend, not his wife, she is the head usher, I say usher, flight attendant, sorry. Usher, I'm thinking of cinemas again, that's where I'm at. She's the head flight attendant, so she is still out there. So there's obviously an emotional connection to why he would open the door. So it kind of plays out the whole thing. I mean, it's about a 2 hour long movie, and this is on Amazon Prime, by the way, just to let you know. And the whole point of it is that the title itself refers to the code which pilots give when there's a terror attack. And the whole movie is really about his quandary about how trying to divert the plane back to a safe zone, also trying to keep the terrorists at bay, try and find out what they want, try and protect his girlfriend, and all that's balanced out with all the commotion that's going on around them of just trying to fly the plane. And it's weird because you don't think that there would be much in that, but I actually like the fact that it's still show don't tell. I like the fact that we don't see really what's going on outside. We see bits of it, we hear bits of it. There is some brutal moments in it. There is some kind of gory moments in it. But they also, I think they play with it quite well. I think that the movie's probably just a fraction too long. I think it comes in at 92 minutes. I feel like you can almost feel that even that extra 2 minutes whenever you're in the cockpit with just 1 or 2 actors at a time, I think that can definitely show the kind of lag in it. But a really good movie, very amazing visuals. You almost feel the kind of the claustrophobia of it. The cinematographer was Sebastian Thaler, and it's sort of set around Germany. This kind of I didn't realize you could turn the subtitles on for halfway through it, so I was just kind of seeing the emotion of what was going on and assuming what was getting said. But make sure you do turn the subtitles on. It was a German, I'm sure it was a German and Austrian kind of like co-production with the United States. So really good plot. The fact that they go down the direction they normally, it is a terror attack, but they kind of hold back just a little bit and they give us a different point of view, and it's a very procedural movie. We're looking at the actual procedures of flying plane, almost in the way that Sully was. It was all about the actual technique of it. It's not just, oh, here's a pilot flying a plane and switching some random buttons. We actually start to understand about the process of what he needs to do in order to keep this plane under control. Some amazing visuals. I mean, you don't really see much outside of the cockpit, if at all. You're always in it or looking into it, or if you're viewing out the way from the cockpit. So I think it's worth seeing. It's definitely a movie that will keep you on the edge of your seat for a wee while. It probably, as I say, does go on a wee bit too long, but I think you can almost forgive it its charm of that, because the acting's amazing. I think the writing was amazing, and that's definitely got a rewatchable value to it just for those performances. It's almost like watching a stage play. So I would definitely go and check that one out. It's great that it finally got a release. It was made in 2017, I think, or at least was in production then. So definitely go check it out. It's great to see that there's still some movies getting released online on these platforms. So continue to look out for them, because a lot of the ones that couldn't get released before are still getting their release now. Also, I know that Tenet's been pushed back. That's Christopher Nolan's new film. That's get pushed back to the 31st. Along with a bunch of other films. I think Wonder Woman's now been moved back as well. And Bond, No Time to Die, it's been moving around back and forth. So hopefully, fingers crossed, Tenet will see the major return to cinemas, however it tends to do it. But I hope whenever we do get back into cinemas that we can do it safely and continue to enjoy movies. I feel like a cinema is still the place for these type of movies, especially something like Tenet. So please continue to send in your thoughts on films, and obviously give me a shout. I'm on Facebook, Paul Mackie, writer-director on Facebook. If you want to drop me a message if you've got any other suggestions. So thank you very much for listening, and also please have a happy and healthy lockdown as we return into phase 2, 3 and 4. I shall be back next month, hopefully with some stuff from the actual cinema. Fingers crossed. Have a good one, guys. Thank you very much, and thanks to Christina again for hosting me.